do this in like a minute. So in short, 2018, 2019 government shutdown happened before COVID. There's $60.4 billion, about $65 billion, whatever. 35.7 million recipients compared to the 42 million recipients now, and the last budget apparently, or expenditure, of 100.3 billion. Following inflation's 30.02% of food specifically, when we look at that from 2019 to 2025, so the budgeting is correct. Even accounting for the rise of recipients, it is still correct. It is about 29.3%, just under the rate of food inflation when we account for recipients between then and now. Now, the main parts to also consider is the state of the House and the Senate from then till now. Back then, it was the same. Republican majority on both House and Senate compared to now. So we had the same issues. Now, the main issues of contention between the last shutdown, the longest shutdown, and this one is border wall versus healthcare, literally. And that is insane to even think about that. And also another difference between both of them is that the 35-day one really lasted about 3-4 months from October to February. But the government had enough money and rules that the first Trump admin put in place in order to make themselves look good, which allowed them to reach into the previous year's budget in order to pay for the government and for programs. So that's why the government didn't shut down right in October during the longest shutdown, and it didn't shut down until December, because they used the remainder of the budget from the previous year, as well as there was a extra hidden fund that was built up for SNAP and food stamps, which was never replaced. So they spent all that between 2018 2019 to fund SNAP food stamps for 5 months up until March. And luckily before then, the difference that happened between then and now, the last difference is that shutdown, 2018, 2019, happened right around midterms. So as soon as Democrats took over the House, they said no to the border wall. They were able to fund the government. They were able to fund SNAP. They saved America. The Democrats did, because they were the ones that decided, hey, border wall is stupid. We shouldn't hold the government, the House of Representatives, hostage, and they shouldn't hold the people hostage, because that's what we were doing over the border wall. This time around, we're a year away from midterms. That's not happening. There is no saving grace here. We're fucked. And not even just fucked. I mean, the main difference is fiscal year ended, government shut down immediately. There's no extra money. There's no rules saying that we can go into last year's budget to pay for this year. So this is why we're experiencing what we're having now. It has nothing to do with the amount of money that was allotted to SNAP or food stamps. That was the same. That was adjusted properly for inflation. Even the average monthly allowances was properly adjusted for inflation between then and now. So that's all right. That is exactly how it should be. The only difference is that we're a year away from midterms, and the second administration doesn't need to look good for a re-election. Okay? So you're screwed. 12.5% of the country is officially screwed, as we're a week away from losing benefits for food stamps. I mean, seeing an exponential increase when open enrollment happens for healthcare and health coverage next month, or next week, I should say, because that was the whole argument for this shutdown, and why it was not being passed was, renewing the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act to make sure that premiums for open enrollment for Health Connector or for anyone that uses state-sponsored health insurance wouldn't get screwed over, and that their premiums would stay low enough so that they could also afford to pay rent, pay for their car, pay to work, pay for things for their families, pay for clothes, pay for everything. And now that they're losing both the ability to pay for food and to be able to afford healthcare, they're just dead. You're done. And you're not really left with many options to survive, because you don't own land, you don't own property, you don't own a means to just making yourself food, because you have to buy food at the grocery store in order to survive. Things are just not as easy as they think it might be, because these are all big rich babies that don't have any real experiences when it comes to being an American. So there's your short version. And yeah, regardless of COVID, because COVID happened actually after that last shutdown, COVID had no effect on that previous shutdown, which they were able to fund the government for about 5 extra months. No problemo. Whereas this one, they just, we'd rather just give all the money away to Argentina, pay for $50,000 bonuses for every person that wants to do illegal activities against Americans, whether they're citizens or not, as we have actually seen, unimaginable acts of, not unimaginable, but pretty bad. I mean, there are worse things going on in the world across the ocean, but things are getting pretty freaking bad here as well. And lastly, this affects not even just the 12.5% of Americans that rely on SNAP and food services, because, I mean, they're going from having to be able to pay for food to having nothing. This also affects grocery stores disproportionately, because typically people that are lower Income earners rely on grocery stores. People that are able to afford to eat all the time, they're going to eat all the time. And you can't use EBT food stamps at restaurants. That's just not how it works. You can't buy prepared food. So this disproportionately affects grocery stores more so. So they're going to see monthly hits of probably about 20 to 25%, maybe even up to 30% profit loss, which also disproportionately hurts farmers. So farmers are done. Farmers just quit. Just honestly leave the country at this point because you're not welcome here. We'd rather buy from Argentina. Absolutely ridiculous, but this is what we're dealing with here. And all to try to own the libs, which, mind you, I mean, the House has only had 20 meetings since July. Only 20 days where they actually did anything since July for about 5 months, 4 to 5 months. And they're still not meeting and doing anything. They refuse to negotiate. They refuse to do anything. They're, again, holding everyone hostage.